Good morning. So I had a talk all prepared, but there was something in the news that really caught my eye, and I don't know if you saw it. You know, there's a lot of change happening in the world. Have you noticed? I mean, it's the hottest month on record. There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of cultural changes. And the latest thing that I saw, maybe you saw it in the news too, but there had been appearing in various places in the world these strange obelisks that kind of come to a point around the country. And you know, there have been pictures of them, and people have been studying them. The scientists are baffled. It wasn't made with AI. It wasn't photoshopped. They can tell by whatever tests they make. I don't know if you've seen them or not. And then finally, someone got a picture of kind of a back view of what was really happening. Ethan, can you share this picture? This is what was really happening. Now, I don't know if you can't see it at home, I'll describe it. They're all of these pictures that have not been photoshopped. They've been original pictures seen through the lens of the rhinoceros. And in the middle of their lens is this obelisk. It's a true story. So, we can't see the world without us being in it. We can't see the world without being in the world, without our viewpoint. I call it your filter. We call it your lens. But you can't see the world without knowing that that exists. And a lot of the times we're completely unaware of it. As you can see in this picture. It's just what is. At least that's what we perceive to be what is. And we perceive it that way because we have been taught over our lifetime that that's the way the world is. It's called our worldview. That's the way my life is. It's called my personal view. And we can't see the world without it in the way. And now we call there's another term for it. This might be our shadow thought. This might be our shadow beliefs, that shadow operating system that runs just under the surface, that drives some of our automatic behaviors, that drives some of our reactions to things. You know, reactions meaning the things that, you know, tick us off in the world and we react to them. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Not that you have experienced it, but surely you know somebody who might have been reactive at some point, yes? So this is just simply what's in our way. So what are the beautiful horns or obelisks in your life? Are you aware of them? And the whole key here is to start becoming aware of what those are. We're in the middle of the quantum living class, and we're getting into the chapter, so this is a preview if you're in the class, of looking at our viewpoints, and realizing that our views are limited. Our views are limited because we can only see the world through our filter and experience it through our filter. But when we take a step back and observe ourselves observing the world, then we can get a clue that, you know, something else might be in our way. That there's something that I have that's hindering me. That's reacting. That's the button inside of me. And one of the keys, I think, to getting beyond that shadow belief or whatever it is that, you know, may be coming up in you is letting go. Is releasing and letting go. In the moment, as best we can. And if not in the moment, then afterwards. And if not afterwards, then 3 weeks later. Or you can carry it with you all your life if you want. It's just not as helpful for us. It's better for us to understand and see that view that's in front of us. Thanks, Ethan. You can take that wonderful rhinoceros off the screen. I appreciate you. The Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh once wrote in his book, The Heart of Buddhist Teaching, he said, letting go gives us freedom. And freedom is the only condition for happiness. Freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart We still cling to anything, any anger, anxiety, resentment, possessions, anything that we're clinging to in our heart, we cannot be free. And so the goal is to begin to let go of those things that are causing that big obelisk in our life, that are causing that impediment in our life, that's blocking our view. Is to start to look at those things that are in us so that we can let go of it and see a greater picture of the world, see a better view of the world. Now at our board meeting, which is coming up next month, which we just had, we're changing things up. And each month we look at a component of what's called the integral ministry practice. And it's using integral theory in recreating church culture, spiritual center culture, or the way we do things, because culture's changing. Culture is changing. Now, I'm very sure of this because this last weekend, it is this weekend, so on Friday, Thursday, I don't remember, I think it was Thursday, a couple of days ago, I'm getting old, I can't remember. I went to a concert there's a new venue down in Menlo Park on El Camino for concerts. It was fantastic. It was of the English Beat. Anybody remember the English Beat? There's a lot more people here that remember the English Beat than I thought. I thought it was going to be 3 of us. Me and the Whitfields. You might know them as General Public. Okay, I lost half of you there. That's okay. And all of the younger crowds like, what? This was a fabulous band, the English Beat. They were in the early 80s. They began in 79. And I'm sitting there thinking, am I really that old? Because age has nothing to do with it. Age has nothing to do with it. I may have been probably not the youngest. No, I wasn't the youngest there, but there were a lot of people my age or older who were all dancing to ska, who were all jamming, and they sound just as good. There's only one left. The rest of the main band has transitioned over the last 4 years, but they have a new band with them, and they sound fantastic, and Dave Wakeling sounds fantastic. Amazing. And I was brought back to that moment because it has nothing to do with age. It has to do with my perceptions. It has to do with my perceptions. And when I thought about them being, oh my gosh, that was 40 years ago, all of a sudden that felt like a long time. But it has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with the time frame. It has to do with my viewpoint in that moment. I saw that obelisk, and I'm like, yeah, I'm dancing. The whole room was dancing for about, almost 2 hours. It was fantastic. And then I went home, and the next day I listened to their whole albums, all of their albums, and then I couldn't get them out of my head. Anyway, you know how that goes. So back to the board. Our perception of life is through our lens. And if we have that block that says, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not healthy, I'm too strong, I don't have enough of this, I don't have enough of that, those are all of our own self-imposed limitations. And those are the things that cause that bondage that Thich Nhat Hanh was talking about. Those are the beliefs that create the anxiety, that create the resentment, that create the frustration, all within me. And if I can let go of all of that, then I can be in the moment, be present to what is, and allow it to just flow through me. Now, one of the biggest ways in which us human beings don't, resist this idea, one of the things that we do is the idea of needing to be right. Anybody know, because of course this isn't us, anybody know someone who always wants to be right? Yeah. And so at the board, we're studying the book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And every month, We take about a half hour, 20 minutes to review what we've studied and how we've applied it in our life and how we can apply it on the board. It's advanced leadership training, and it's fantastic. It's really changing our board culture. And so the commitment from last week was the commitment to learn through curiosity. And with each commitment, there's an above-the-line behavior and a below-the-line behavior. And the basic of it is, if you're below the line, you are in your own funk. You are in your own stories. You are the obelisk. You can't see past it. And when you decide to go above the line, you rise above that dysfunction and create more structure, more beauty, more love, more experience of spirit in your life. And so the below-the-line behavior for this one is, I commit to being right and to seeing this situation as something that's happening to me. I commit to being defensive, especially when I'm certain that I'm right. So just very simply, when does that show up for you? I took out the word if, because we all know it shows up at one point in time or another. For my son and my wife, it's like sport. It's like ping pong. The tennis, they're going back and forth. No, well, actually, and I just sit back and watch the tennis match. But they have an awareness of it, right? They're not trying to. It's not a fight between them. It's more of, this is a game that they're playing. Who gets to be right? He's looking at me through the mirror, through the window. I can't believe you're talking about me. So that's what it feels like to be below the line. That's what it looks like. So what causes you to go below the line? What conditions do you feel like you have to be right? That's not a feeling. See, this is a good part of our class. That wasn't a feeling, that was a thought. What belief do I have that says I have to be right? The feeling behind that's probably, I'm scared, I'm feeling insecure, I'm feeling, fear. But the belief is, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough. And those situations create this experience in me where I need to be right. And when I need to be right, I close myself off from anyone else's point of view. I close myself off from any other worldview. I cannot see the world except for through this lens of wanting to be right. To shift above the line, it's so simple. It's just being curious. So the commitment above the line is, I commit to growing in self-awareness. Because if you can't identify and realize, oh, I'm committed to being right. If you can't see that in yourself, you've got nowhere to go. But if you can take a moment to listen to your thoughts, to listen to your words, to listen to the experience, and see, oh, this is where I'm committed to being right. So if I commit to self-awareness, then I'm also committing to regarding every interaction as an opportunity to learn. Everyone take a nice deep breath. Because I know what happens is immediately you go to that situation that's just so far off the rails for you that you can't see that in your life. But let's come back to present moment. Let's come back to daily living. And in daily living, can you commit to regard every interaction as an opportunity to learn? I commit to curiosity as a path for rapid learning. There is no growth without change. There is no growth without being willing to let go of some concept so that another concept can come in. There is no growth if you're not willing to be open to what is and to see the world through a broader perspective. To be able to kind of see how the other person might be experiencing life. We don't have to agree with it, but at least if we acknowledge it and understand, where is that in me? Then we can have more compassion for people. Then we can have more compassion and we can more easily be in these situations and see, oh, here's an opportunity for me to grow. Now, there's a little booklet I don't know if we have any in the bookstore. We used to, but it's called The Golden Key by Emmett Fox. And Emmett Fox was a New Thought luminary back in the day, and I think he was with Divine Science or another form of New Thought like similar to Unity. And in this little booklet, he says, I'm going to net it out for you. Here's the truth. If you just remember this. Because what happens is, what he says is, the mistakes made by many people when things go wrong is to, one, focus on what's wrong. Focus on the obelisk. Focus on the tusk. Focus on my own impression. Here's what's wrong. Here's the belief, and I'm focusing on it. This is all that's wrong in my life. He also says that people tend to skim through book after book without getting anywhere. Here's what's wrong. I got to go read another book. Hey, John, did you hear about that book? Yeah, I gave a talk about that 4 weeks ago. Where were you? Because they're all universal truths. But the book after book is just another way of ignoring the growth, of ignoring curiosity. What's another way in which I can look at this? What's another way, how can I see myself in it so that I can gain that perspective of self-awareness? And so what he says is the simple golden key is to do not focus on the problem. Focus on God. Do not focus on the problem. Focus on God. Now, God is our short term, our little acronym, right? Because when I say God, I mean, the allness of life. Like Lisa was saying, God is in you like the ocean is in the wave, and God is within all of you like the ocean is in the wave. So if you're all ocean, if we're all God, if we're all one, individualized as this expression, then how can we see anything different? What we're seeing differently is someone else's shadow. What we're seeing differently is our own shadow reflected in someone else. So anytime you get frustrated or upset or triggered, that's an opportunity for self-awareness. If you're curious enough, just simply be curious enough. So what does it mean to focus on God? I mean, what does that really look like? Last week we had the exercise of defining some of your spiritual values, right? Some of the values in which and how you want to show up in life. Whether you want to show up as love, as wisdom, as fun, as power, as strength, as humble. You want to show up as kindness and compassion. You want to show up as willingness, curiosity. All of these ways in which we show up to express that which we call God. Now, as soon as you put God in a box, what have we done? We've limited it. There is no way that we are going to know the allness of it except to allow it to show up within us. To allow Spirit to move you. To allow us to see in that beautiful song, can you see, I don't remember the lyric, the birds, the bees on the flowers. Can you see the beauty that's all around you? Can you see that beautiful Spirit running through each person? Can you open to it to just allow it to flow? Meditation and affirmative prayer is our practice to get there. But it's simply a matter of letting go of our attachments to having to be right. Letting go of our attachments. And let me clarify. I'm not talking about being right. There's value in understanding. There's value in knowledge. I'm talking about wanting to be right. I'm talking about I don't have value unless I'm right. I have more value than you because I'm righter than you. That's what I'm talking about. When we let go of that needing to be in the right space. So how does it show up for us? Having that brother who doesn't see your point of view. having that sister who has a dependency problem, having that boss who is just climbing the ladder and you're just a footstool, having a child that is so tired of hearing your wisdom and advice. I'm not talking about you. We're going to talk later. Ethan's running our live stream. Thank you, Ethan. Right? I forget what I was talking about. Being right. Instead, letting go of all of that and just being in the flow, allowing our feet to move as wisdom comes to us, acknowledging someone else and having compassion for them because we know that they are just simply not aware of the ocean that's within them, the ocean of possibility, the ocean of potential, the ocean of love, the ocean of peace that is already there innate within them. And the best way to describe it to them is to show them instead of being right. Well, you know what you need to do? You need to go to Unity. Well, I kind of agree with that one, but what can I say? So this simple rule, there's another quote where this idea of keep your eyes single. And what that means is keep your eyes single and focused on God. So when problems come up, come back to God. This is from Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. This is in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount when Jesus, the master teacher, said, "The light of the body is the eye. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. And by thy body, the whole of your consciousness." The whole of your consciousness and the way you see through the world, because that is where we have agency. We have the choice. We have the opportunity to decide how we're going to look and react and respond to the world. And so with that agency, if we keep focused on the light, then we are filled with light. We are filled with that loving presence. We're filled with that immutable law of abundance. We're filled with that idea of knowing our unity with Spirit and our unity with each other. Now, it doesn't mean you don't do your work, because there are times when there's something going on when we need to do our work. Meditation and affirmative prayer. We need to do some forgiveness work. And I take the word need out. I'm going to say we can choose to do forgiveness work. We can choose to do meditation and affirmative prayer. We can choose to be curious, because we all survived pretty well without it so far, yeah? So it's not really a need, unless you want to feel that freedom of letting go of that anxiety. Unless you want to feel the freedom of being in the presence of pure spirit, being in the presence of pure love. And to allow that to flow through you. Let's move to our affirmation. I'm going to read our affirmation and invite you to just take it in. And I love the second parts from the daily word today. Everything just falls into place. My eye is focused on God. And I invite you to replace that word God with whatever experience of the divine, of the allness of life, love, and wisdom, of source, of substance, of spirit, of divinity, of that spark, of the isness, of the universe, whatever word opens you up to the greater sense of that ocean within you, that divine nature that is within you. My eye is focused on God. I view my life through eyes of wonder.